Yay, it says I am live. Hopefully, all is well with you and yours. It is a pretty sunny day here in Mount Shasta, but everything is covered in snow. So, the past week or so, we've been just having a massive snowstorm everywhere. Like the first day that it started coming down, the highways were just full of jackknife trucks, and people just yeah people start driving like crazy when the weather turns. Whether they're going really slow or they're acting just absolutely bonkers. So yeah, at one point I was driving home, and there was someone in front of me that was kind of going slower than I wanted to go, but the roads were snowy and I wasn't going to risk like speeding up in front of them because there was a semi that they were passing on the side. And I saw this guy coming up in my rear view mirror, and he went on my side, and then all of a sudden he went like even farther over, and I look over, and the next thing he's plowing through this snow, and then I realize that there's two semis on the side of me, so that's all three lanes of the highway, and he was on the outside plowing on, just plowing his truck through to get past everyone, like going. Thankfully I didn't see him crash, so that there's that. But wow, I was like, what are you doing? I'm sure everyone else was nervous too, because this guy was just making up his own rules. So at one point I was also trying to leave Mount Shasta, and I kind of did a little bit of a fit. I was going really slow too, and turned onto the highway really slow, and my back was still fish and tailing around a little bit. And then almost as soon as I got onto the highway, I realized that was a big mistake because the traffic was just so backed up. And then finally, someone a few cars behind me did like this U-turn through the median. And then another Jeep did it, and I'm like, well, I have four-wheel drive, so I'm going for it. And I did, and it was actually really fun. Thankfully, I was on the highway enough to, as soon as I turned around, I was getting off right off the same exit. So yeah, I didn't even make it very far. Thankfully, things are cleared up, and the people out there are, plowing the roads and making sure that they're rocked, I guess. I don't think they're putting salt down, because I was following one the other day and it was like red pebbles and just making everything red around it. So, um, yeah, hopefully the weather where you guys are, isn't so bad. I know it's winter, so we should expect that. But the past few years in Mount Shasta, it hasn't been like this. The snow's like up to my knees when I'm trying to run out there in it. So, the previous years it was kind of really rainy, and we did have a little bit of that, but then the snow came. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the winter fares. David T, how's it going? David says, hi, how are you doing this week? I am doing pretty good. Like I said, trying to stay warm, and, I don't know. I grew up in Ohio, so I'm used to the snow, but I always was like, if I can be a snowbird and like enjoy the north when it's summer and then go south for the winter and then come back, like that would be like my ideal. Um, but yeah, Mount Shasta is beautiful though, and like the trees and all, like the wintry scene, it's absolutely stunning. So I definitely see that as a positive. I just don't really like to be cold. David also asked if I've created any new ice cream using my ice cream machine. Yeah, I haven't told everyone that I got an ice cream machine, but next week I am hosting a vegan ice cream and dessert social, which is, I'm not sure if it was really the best planning to have an ice cream social in the middle of a snowstorm. Maybe I should have done like a hot chocolate bar or something, something a little bit warmer. But hopefully, with a warm enough room and all of the love and stuff in there, then it'll be good. But yeah, like David says, I bought a new ice cream machine because at least one of the people here in the Shasta vegan community is like a really strict raw vegan. So I want to make sure, hi Larry, if you're watching, I want to make sure that Larry has at least a few different options of a raw ice cream. At this point, I plan to make maybe a vanilla. There's so many different kinds that are raw. There was, when I was looking, it was like a vanilla and blueberry, salted caramel, banana. You can take all of the different fruits and make different sorbet. Is that how you say it? Sorbets out of them. So yeah, I plan on doing that this week, and I'll have to keep you updated because I haven't started that yet. I'm planning on going shopping today for all of the ingredients that I need, and also hitting up the Dollar Tree because they have some really awesome decorations that you can make look pretty nice for very inexpensive. Another one of the decorations I just got are these cool blue roses and they're twinkle lights. I also got some colored ones as well. So I'm going to be doing a lot of decorations. I'm super stoked for it. I know that holidays, a lot of truthers don't celebrate holidays. And sorry, I was looking at the computer camera and I need to remember to look at the other camera. I don't really celebrate holidays for what they're worth, but the idea of getting together and celebrating love, not only for our fellow humans, but for the animals as well. You know, I think we should embrace that. And also, I think that holidays kind of help to split up the year a little bit. It kind of gives you something to look forward to. And the next spoke in the wheel, so to say, the ancients, especially the pagans, witches, would celebrate different seasons of the year, different times of various things happening, whether it's the winter solstice, the summer solstice, harvest, planting time, all of these different things they would have celebrations for. And I think that's really cool. I think we should get back to those roots of celebrating the earth for what she is, because it's not just her, you know, you're celebrating the creator as well, because it's both of them. He created it, but it's her. So there's, you know, that trinity that a lot of us kind of value, you know, that father, mother, child. And the balance between the feminine and the masculine divine that this world is really lacking. The animosity as well between the two sexes. We definitely need to work on mending that. This is a community shared space, so there's people that are coming in, a little puppy in the background. So thankfully it's a lot quieter than Starbucks. And actually, okay, so this is a place that I did the Christspiracy viewing party, which I'd love to do another one of those, and also different vegan documentaries in the future, and get, like, you know, I got a popcorn machine. I should be having movie nights all the time, you know, but having different screenings and stuff. This is also a place that I do karaoke, but they're in the middle, well, not the middle, they're kind of at the beginning process of turning this into a church. And the last meeting that they had, I was invited to, and they're talking about putting in a commercial kitchen. And you can probably tell I'm already, like, I can't hide my smile because it's so exciting that they're talking about making it vegan. And since I got to be in here, they're kind of like, oh, well, maybe they could put a, you know, kitchen out there for the meat eaters. And I was like, well, if they're coming here for a resort and it's like a 2-day thing, first of all, you can go for 2 days without meat. You know, they don't even need to have a space on the whole property, because that's bringing this energy in. And if you're coming here for this spiritually uplifting experience, if you're coming here to align yourself with what the owner is trying to align with, which is unconditional love in this fifth dimensional, you know, existence, veganism is part of that, you know. There's yogis that have done muscle testing. I've released a video before about this yogi that did muscle testing and said that anytime that you eat any flesh, your upper chakras, your upper energy centers actually shut down. And so it works directly against your meditation, your ascension, like all of these things that you're trying to do to uplift yourself spiritually. It directly works against that. So how cool, though, that they are going to be potentially starting a vegan church. Some of you already know that I am trying to start my own church as well. I have a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak. So sometimes it kind of seems like I'm spinning my wheels and just, like, not finishing any projects, but starting more and, like, taking on more things. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a challenge to try to get things, you know, going in the direction that I want to. But even just this morning, I launched the Shasta Vegan Directory, where I'm going to start putting out information about different restaurants and businesses and caterers and whatever around this area, so that people can start to see the vegan options. And, you know, hopefully that will help the restaurants see that there's a demand for it, and they'll give us more options at the very least. That being said, what just popped into my mind was Plant-Based Treaty. They have a lot of information and stuff on their website that you can go, and I plan on doing it. I just haven't got to it yet. But printing out different like information packets and taking them to the local cafe and local restaurants to try to raise awareness, not just really like focused on the animal welfare, which is what I am like personally the most focused on. But even when you look at the economy and agriculture, not the economy, but the environment is what I meant to say. The environment and agriculture and what's happening and how much deforestation and how much waste and just pollution of the earth is going on just because of animal agriculture. And it's a really big, time that we need to focus on changing the things of the past. And although I don't believe in climate change, as we've been told, I know there's a lot of misinformation. They are doing a lot of damage with the current systems, even monocrop culture, right? It's depleting all of this soil in these large areas of land to create one thing, when if you go out in nature, that's not how things grow, right? There's like a tree, and then there's different things around it usually to help enrich the soil, and they have this symbiotic relationship where they're all helping each other. So we need to move into better practices in animal agriculture, which needs to completely stop. There shouldn't be any animals that are enslaved. Everything just gets transformed into a sanctuary, and that's that. But on the other end, where we're actually growing food, we need to do that in better ways as well. So really excited to see what we can do starting here in Shasta. And that was my intro. Kyle, how's it going? Kyle said, Kyle says, are you at the place where you hosted the Christspiracy event? Yes, I did. Yes, exactly. Hey, South African boys, how's it going? That just cut out. Am I back? Okay. Hopefully. David D says 4-wheel drive is the key to dealing with the snow. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I've been rocking with. So hopefully I'm back now because my internet cut off. But yeah. Kyle says a warm room for cold ice cream. Yeah, that's a good point as well. This is my first ice cream social that I'm hosting, so it'll be an interesting thing to see what happens, to say the very least. All right. Dave D says raw vegan ice cream. Yes, exactly. A lot of them are banana based, or like maybe a banana and cashew, but I think I've also seen avocado based ones as well, usually with your chocolates or peanut butter, something that can really cover up the avocado taste. It makes a great base for. It is unstable, so I apologize for the internet issues. Maybe that's a go and get my errands done for today, because I am, like I said, planning for this event. So today I got to go Reading to get some ingredients and some decorations and all this kind of stuff to start getting the ball rolling. Super excited about that. So if it cuts off again, I might just end the stream, because I'll just take it as a hint. Okay. The Israelite, how's it going? Together the Godhead are one. Yes. Well, they do work in unity, right? They have their unified purpose and all that. But I don't believe in like the 3 in 1, like the same as the Christian Trinity usually. Basically it being like the same entity. David says, celebrating the father and mother in the world we can create together. Exactly. A better world, a vegan world. Yeah. And as I've said many times, we don't get heaven on earth unless we allow the other species to enjoy that as well. And while maybe our futures don't always look the same in paradise, whereas, for instance, the Jinn paradise, their beings of smokeless fire, if it was up to them, they would have a world without humans and everything would just be flames and in just this fiery paradise, right? We're not gonna give that to them. We're gonna have to work together with them to make a world that all of us can coexist together, because there's only one dome. There's only one, only one room here under the dome, and there's a lot of species under here, and it might not be, what every single species sees as the pinnacle of their golden age, but at least we can do what we can to make it better for, the majority of us. Sorry to the Jinn, but make it better for all of us in them. So, yeah. David says, are they making a new vegan commercial kitchen in Shasta? This is huge. Yeah, so that's what they are talking about, which is super exciting. I was looking into some of the information about how to get like certified vegan so that people, well, they want to get certified on their own things as well, so that people can come in and rent the space to use it to sell things, which, you know, you have to have, you can't just, legally speaking, you can't just like open your house and start selling stuff out of it, because there's like food handling safety rules and different laws that they've created, obviously, to control, right? And also, I mean, I guess there is some safety aspects to that as well. But then you look at some videos of foreign food being produced, and people are like walking on your food with their feet and just on dirty floors and stuff. And so it's kind of like, you realize that the government pretends that they're making these rules for your protection, but realistically, they don't care about your protection. They care about, you know, controlling us, enslaving us, and manipulating us and programming us to being the worst versions of ourselves possible, essentially. And so that's what all of the, you know, media and everything is all about. The Israelite says, are they Essene? There are some of the people here that are leaning towards Essene, but the main group here is under Saint Germain with like the I Am and the Violet Flame. And they, I'm not like, that's not exactly what I've been drawn to learn myself. I'm really aligned with the Essenes. But I think that, you know, all of these religions especially have crossing paths on very great beliefs and stuff, where it's unconditional love, or, you know, just, I don't know. There's just so many different things that there are in good parts of various religions, that we need to grab those and hold on to it and come together in unity in those things, and kind of fade away from the dividing factors and stuff like that. That being said, I know that veganism is a dividing factor, but there are some things that there does need to be some division on, because a house divided can't stand, like can't be, like, for instance, when I was here with the Buddhist group, I could sense that they were very unified. And so when we would go into like this group meditation, I felt that everyone else in the room was unified except for me, because I'm like, how are we sitting here praying for like peace or love or all this stuff when you guys aren't vegan? And we're, you know, there's just, there can't be unity in that, because your actions are going against what you're praying for. And so, yeah, there does need to be some dividing issues. And, you know, veganism, how we treat children, right? Like, I'm sure everyone would be okay with having pedophilia be a dividing issue. It's like there's a right and there's a wrong, and we all need to be on the side of the right, right? So anyways, the Israelite says, as vegan gets too upset if I see or smell burning flesh and blood. Me too. And it gets worse over time, doesn't it? Because at first you're like, you're used to those smells. And then the longer that you're vegan, it's like, oh my gosh, how can people even stand being around this? Like, it's the worst. It's awful. Hey, A469, how's it going? Exactly, vegan is the way. Welcome to the chat. The Israelite says pollution's destroying our pure atmosphere and is causing major problems, like the extinction of nature's beautiful children of Mother Nature. Yes, exactly. And that's not just like the pollutants, but are, well, I guess plastics would be considered pollutants, but I'm thinking of like, you know, the things that we're sending into the air, the emissions from factories and the pile up of the landfills, right? All of these different things, the depletion of the soil, cutting down the trees so that the ecosystem and all, like, there's a filtration system that God has in place to, you know, it's a room, right? It needs airflow. It needs these systems that'll move air and other things through the system to, you know, keep it clean, to keep it functioning properly. And you start messing with those systems and then poisoning it to where it's like, it's really overloaded, then you're going to cause problems. Just like with the human body, there's different systems in place that there's, you know, exosomes that take stuff out of your cell. So all these things are cleaning your cells and constantly taking them out, trying to get rid of the impurities and stuff. But if you spend every day of your life 3+ meals a day putting in poison, that's going to build up because your systems can't go like as fast as they can't counteract as fast as the damage that you're doing. So it's kind of like, you know, the mother has her limits too, and the chemtrails and the emissions and the killing all the trees and all this stuff, it's like it's definitely going to take a toll on her and cause a lot of other issues in the end. So it's hard to know, not all the time, but sometimes it's like, was that actually a natural disaster, or was that the mother reacting to the stuff that we've done to her? A lot of times it's fake, right? They control the weather, they manipulate things, they create this chaos so that they can come in as the hero and bring about the new order, right? And that's part of the stuff that we see today in politics, in the news. Biden made this big problem. Trump has to come in and fix it. And I just was reading yesterday that they're talking about like basically giving Israel to Trump or some like America's control. And yeah, it's just kind of interesting to see all of these things like playing out in front of us and how, I don't know, but anyone who's done any little bit of research knows that, you know, the current state of Israel doesn't even fulfill the biblical prophecies, whether you believe in the Bible or not. There's prophecies about this future state of Israel that would be established, and it would be, you know, a place where people worship God. It would be God's actual land, right? And the powers that be used Hitler and that situation back in the day to manipulate this forming of the state. That doesn't add up. So they do that, and then all of a sudden they turn around and they make sure that all the Christians and everyone's like, if you go against Israel, you're going against God, and that's a very grave sin. Don't ever question, don't speak against them, don't anything. And what now they're talking about anti-Semitism again, right? And making it, I think one of the articles that I was saying was like the most extreme form punishable that they can get away with if you do this. And it's like, wow, you can say whatever you want usually about any other group, and that's free speech, but it's like this one group that's very protected, and it's like, it's just kind of very telling. But that being said, there are those that say they're Jews but lie. They're not real. They're not really God's people, and they're not of the bloodline of God's people, according to, I don't believe in the Bible, but I'm just saying they're not even part of the bloodlines that would be involved in that if it was real. So yeah. David says it's a real struggle with work colleagues and family that aren't vegan. It's too difficult to watch them chewing and swallowing innocent flesh. Yeah, I agree. And that energy, and it's kind of like, would I sit across the table from you if you're eating a sandwich that had a human baby in it? No, that would be evil of me to just sit in the presence of evil and just sit there and not do anything, right? And I equate animals and human babies. They're all babies. They all deserve our protection. They're the same. So they're all, for me, under that same umbrella of innocent protection. And we don't eat any of them. We don't rape them. We don't raise our hands in any hurtful ways towards them or anything. We protect them and we try to build them up and make the world the best for them that we can. So I can't wait to be a mom. The Israelite says, I would rather be on my front drive e-bike in snow. Oh, interesting. The e-bikes and stuff would like presumably require more energy and everything to get through the snow. So I wonder, yeah, I don't know how good of an option that would be around here, but if you're in a smaller town, that'd be a pretty good idea. The Israelite says, in nature, God's will, God's goodwill, all live and move, all have substance. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? And Jeff says, hi there. This setting is much better to watch. Too much background noise in some of the others. Thanks for what you do. I appreciate your feedback, and I agree. I need to do a better job at picking a better location for my live stream and just having a better live stream. So Kyle says, I could never understand a Buddhist eating dead flesh. It's completely counterintuitive. And it's kind of interesting to get into these, the Buddhist circle, especially because I'm in some other groups online, and they like, first of all, they're very adamant that it's not a religion, but then they like quote Buddha as if Buddha's like the end all be all of everything. So it's kind of like just how people like atheists, right? They'll be like, oh, I don't believe in a religion, but then you ask them about their beliefs, and like their priests are like Newton and Darwin and all these people that they have put on a pedestal. It's kind of just the same as a priest. It's like, you know better than me. I need to submit to your authority and to your understanding and to whatever you have to say on the matter. So yeah. But yeah, even Buddha, there's quotes from Buddha saying that, you know, eating meat robs you of the great seed of compassion within you. But then there's other scriptures, whatever, that said that Buddha ate meat. So I would personally lean to the side of, if Buddha was who Buddha says they were, just like Christ, they would have abstained from eating flesh. And then someone later down the line came along and changed it. Maybe they wanted to try to make it a more presentable to the masses kind of religion or whatever, or maybe they were just an invert who wanted to corrupt something good. But that often happens with, religions. They're getting corrupted from such a good spot. Just as I forage and shell wild black walnuts. Oh, cool. They would be great in ice cream. Interesting. Isn't it black walnut seed too that they use for killing cancer or parasites or something? Am I thinking of the right thing? Here's what it says: it's the war between the powers that once ruled the world under the sun, and now the Muslims want to rule the world, like when the Messiah was God. Interesting. I haven't seen anything from the Muslim side about that. I haven't looked into it at all, but I don't personally see like any one group as like, I wouldn't be like, oh, it's the New World, or like I don't know. I don't credit Muslim or Islam with like I don't see the New World Order being Islam. Most likely it's going to be, well, I don't know, because it's hard to not see it being this mainstream Christian watered down nonsense, especially that the masses in America at least kind of side towards, especially if like Trump gets to, I just saw something this morning about them making like a faith cabinet or something in the White House to kind of promote and foster this religious aspect, which separation of church and state. I don't really believe in that, but what else are we playing with here anymore, right? Because it's like, I don't know. I think not everyone, but there's a lot of people out there that will be willing to just blindly go along with the plan just because they're sick of all of the other options that they've been given, and they've been manipulated to believe that this is the best option that's for them. And hopefully they get on here and hear that that's not true and change their minds, because, we do have the chance to make a better future from the chaos that is already here. That's already happened, right? With COVID, there's already enough chaos. Like, I'm not voting for any more wars and devastations, which who knows what's going to happen, especially with the new tariffs and stuff with war and that. But my point was that there's already been enough chaos, and we have the chance to be in this awakening to manifest a better future. And if we come together and start dreaming together of a better world, we can just win over their efforts, because they're very unified in their New World Order efforts. There's been multiple different, spokespeople from every side of from the right and the left, talking about the New World Order and stuff. They're all unified in it against us, whether they pretend to be friends or not. And so we have to be that unified as well. And they've gotten us to fight over every single little thing, whether it's your skin color or, every single thing that could be a point of contention. They've fed into and tried to hype it up as much as possible so that we never join together and fight our enemy. So yeah, I know I'm preaching to the choir and a lot of these things. So the Israelite says Hitler is ran by black sorcery, fiery powers of oil. I'm not sure what you mean by Hitler, but okay. David D says any true prophet of God will be vegan. Exactly. Because prophet or prophetess, one who speaks for God, if you're actually connecting with him, it's going to be the same message over and over again. Even in the, I'm going to just look it up really quick. I almost brought my Gospel of the Holy 12 copy in today, and I ran back in the house, and I'm just like, what was it that I came back in here for? And I forgot. So yeah, now we're here. Gospel of the Holy 12. Da-da-da. Thanks for being here today, guys. I appreciate the time that you, come on and join my live streams and chat and watch my shows and all that. So Yeah. Anybody watching the good old Super Bowl today? I never liked football to begin with, so that was never a thing for me. But let me see if this is it. Basically, it was just saying that there were so many prophets that came and was telling us to turn away, but they didn't listen. So I guess I'll have to look into that and maybe retouch it next week because I thought it was here, but yeah, sorry, it's not in here. David says the Gospel of the Holy 12 is amazing. Yeah, I agree. It's life changing, and you can find it online for free at thenazareneWay.com. Or you can buy it on Amazon, like a paper copy for like $8. Best $8 that you could ever invest, if you ask me, because it is life changing and it's really, really amazing. I grew up as a mainstream Christian, and so a lot of those stories that are in the Gospel of the Holy 12 kind of align. They're like similar stories, but instead of feeding them fish and bread. I don't know. He fed them grapes and bread. So it was like this giant communion instead. And it was a purification ritual, right? Instead of sitting there, like, I don't know, I just picture all these people sitting by the sea eating fish, and like the smell makes me want to puke. Like, I'm out. Can you guys hit me up when you're eating something like a little less rank? Because fish is disgusting. But yeah, it's cool that there's a lot of the same stories, but there goes even more into showing Christ's compassionate nature and how he cared for animals. And it's just really, really, really beautiful. So I definitely encourage that. Jeff says, no sports for me. Yeah, me either. I do like to play sports though. Nexus Knight says, I'm only watching the halftime show. Uh-oh. Well, that's when usually the trashy male to female inverts coming out to dance. Is Taylor Swift the one that's performing this year? I only said that because people have been talking about halftime show performers. Let's see what kind of trash Nexus Knight's going to be subscribing to. All right. Ooh, Kendrick Lamar. Whoa. I'm not really. Oh, is that really the only person though? Have they done more than one person in previous years? I'm not really sure how the Super Bowl works because I don't really watch it, but they have Lauren Daigle. Isn't that the person that's supposedly a Christian? Why are they singing? Let me just see this. One second, guys. I got to do some research. David says it's all a show. Exactly. Nothing that we see on TV is real. Remember what was that Super Bowl halftime show that there was inappropriate uncovering of someone's breast and like everyone's freaking out? They do this stuff on purpose. Like none of these things happen on accident. It's just, all right, let me just see. The Christian singer, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm just kind of interested in seeing what they I'll just have to come back to that later. Anyways, I'm probably gonna get off of here soon because like I said, I have to run down to Reading. But I want to catch up with you guys. Maybe I'll do some stuff later in the week, depending on my schedule. Because I got a new ice cream machine, so I'm stoked to see what I can create with that and all the vegan goodies. So, just wrapping up real quick. David G says, the smell of fish has always been a bit off-putting. Yeah, and they swim in their own toilet, so I thought eating them was like just really gross and slimy and ugh. But now I think that with all the animals, so well, not gross and slimy, but whatever. Carl says the only reason to watch Super Bowl is to find out what they'll foreshadow in the halftime show. Yeah, it's interesting to see some of those, looking back in time, but they always do it right in front of us. It's like a giant ritual, not just with the Super Bowl, with the halftime show, but Like if you have this whole stadium of people, and not even that, right? The stadium's just like the smallest part of it because it's being broadcast all over the world, right? And you have some of these humans that are so emotionally invested in something so meaningless and dumb. Honestly, they're just throwing around a ball of air, and like they're a bunch of supposed guys jumping on top of each other, smacking each other's butts. It's gay, okay? But people are so invested in it that they'll go and destroy people's property over losing and stuff. It's ridiculous. But think of all that energy. If you've seen Monsters Inc., where they go in and they scare the kid and they fill up this container with energy, that's kind of a truth in plain sight reflection of our reality. It's not like they're gathering canisters of our energy, but all of that energy is getting sucked up, whether it's good energy or bad energy. And so these situations is kind of interesting to see from that perspective of how much how pathetic the human species really is, actually, because you're so mad about that, but you're not mad about the fact that the government's taxing you, that like the anger is very misplaced at things that are just like, yeah, just, I guess maybe they would rather place all that energy into something that they can't actually control, because then they can't blame themselves for nothing happening. Because if you're really mad about the government and you're not doing anything about it, then you're at fault. So maybe there's something to that as well. David D says, yeah, Kyle, they put in predictive programming for the years to come. I expect homelessness, famine, etc. Yeah, I just saw another thing. I'm not sure where it came from, so I have to do more research, but it showed like the eagle that is on the dollar bill sign or whatever, the seal. It was turned the opposite way, and they were saying, is this a sign of war? But you just kind of look at what's going on, and this, the tariffs just alone and trying to cause all these problems, it's going to cause issues on both sides, right? And the people that are not allowed to sell or buy or whatever are going to get mad, and it's just going to create these tensions. Meanwhile, the powers that be, Trump is in bed with China. They're all in bed with each other. And Biden, all of these characters that were given to either love or hate, they don't even have any power. They're just front people for us to love or hate. They're actors. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds. But I did want to mention, to people that I really hope that you are preparing for anything that might be coming. I've had boxes of food buried in my yard and in other kind of prepping stuff. And I've tried to tell people to save up some gold and get guns and all these things, just so that when things do go south, if they do, you're prepared and you're safe for that, so that you can survive and live to see a better world that we create after the chaos. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of work to do, guys. Beezerlight says, hopefully you have a blissful and merry peace week. Oh, you too. Their hands should be using their hand to plant food for the fruits of life, not being clowns. Yeah. Next is Night says, the symbolism in halftime show is why I'm tuning in. Okay. Yeah. Well, you guys, if anyone does watch that, I would love, maybe next week we could chat about what you saw. I'm not sure how much I'll look into it or whatever. But I am interested in, I don't know, if somebody else goes and looks in it, I'm interested to see what you see. But I'm not going to watch it myself. David D says, human anger is misplaced. Exactly. Shadow Mass says, nice guitar, matches your jacket. Oh, yeah. So, guys, this is my new guitar. I don't think she's tuned because that's pretty good. But she is an acoustic electric. So, pretty cool. And, yeah, that's all I got to say about that. It says 111 nations are in power in space to remove all the oil sorcery powers in the end. Interesting. Well, I know you're a flat earther, right? So I don't know if you mean space as in up in space or, yeah. David D says that Trump, Biden, all leaders are just inverted puppets. Exactly. And realistically, someday they're going to wake up and realize that Satan's goal and theirs are not even aligned. They're basically his, they're the biggest sellouts and whatever. But yeah, they're doing all of this stuff and going against their soul and who they are at a fundamental level to go along with this plan that realistically, if Satan got his way, it would be Nibiru. It would be this plane of fire where the Jinn are the ones that are here, and it's just them, not this material-based human type thing, which means that the inverts don't even have a place in his perfect future. So what are you guys even working for? Kyle says, I hope I see some vegan or flat earth commercials from the Super Bowl. Oh, that'd be really cool. Yeah, have you heard of anything from, if any vegan ones plan to go? Oh man, now that would be really exciting. DOD says things are already going south. Mass layoffs now, followed by more homelessness, unaffordable food. Yeah, you're right. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, like I was saying, please prepare and do what you can to get ready for prepare for the prepare for the worst and hope for the best. It's kind of all that we can do. So that's not all that we can do, actually. Waking other people up to the fact that, we're getting sprayed like bugs. And if we just stop mistreating animals, literally all of this would stop. It's the fundamental issue that they base all of the attacks that they do on us humans. They get us to do the evil first so that they can do the attacks on us. So we go over here, we eat their cheese, their meat, their stuff, then they can come in and they can enslave us. They can tax us. They can force vaccinate us. They can force us into cages. They can take away our children. They can do all of these things and point to our own actions as the root cause. So until we address the evil that we're doing as a species, we can't really complain about the evil that's done to us, So I would definitely encourage people to get the word out as in whatever way that you can. It's unfortunate that so many people won't just see the animal suffering as the reason to go vegan. But there's the climate, there's the fact that it's directly related to us. There's other issues that are related to animal agriculture in that situation, that maybe you can get them to be convinced on those grounds. But yeah, I'm excited for the vegan world that we're going to create together. So Shadow Mask says, I'm surprised he didn't hire Hillary into administration. Yeah, wasn't Hillary supposed to be locked up a long time ago? During the last presidency? Isn't that kind of funny? They never lock up their own friends. That's the thing. All the people that believe in Q and this Gitmo thing, it's once you understand that these bloodlines are the ones that are ruling our world, they're the ones that control the military, they control the judicial system, they're not killing their own family. For what? Doing the family plan? What? That doesn't make any sense. It's just wishful thinking because they want to believe that something's happening. They showed all this child trafficking and all this horrible stuff and then immediately followed it with, trust the plan, don't worry. It's okay. We got it taken care of, best child savers in the whole world. Right. So, and now we are where we are because they kept believing in that hope. They were traumatized and then given a breadcrumb of hope. And now, 4 years later, they're still playing this role-playing game thinking that, celebrities are being replaced and all this stuff when they're not. So, I mean, I'm not saying that there are celebrities that are being replaced with lookalikes. It doesn't mean that the original one is being killed. Just because an actor exits stage left doesn't mean that he's not alive anymore, right? So anyways, I am getting off of here, guys. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch up with you next week. Sorry to end so abruptly, but I do have to run all the way to Reading today, so I need to get on the road, and I will see you next week. Love you.